I was a little bit concerned throughout the course of the year that Jeff might have changed the constitution and thought that the coaches should have gone out with the presidents. Thank Christ that wasn't the case. He has mellowed a bit, the old fellow. I had dinner. Karen and myself had dinner with Felicity and Jeff on Thursday night at the Newmarket Hotel in Inkerman Street. Would you believe, in St Kilda? It was a fantastic night. I went to the night thinking, I might only be there for about an hour or so. We got there at 7 o'clock and crawled out of there at about 11 o'clock that night. And there's many misconceptions about me and Jeffrey, but we had a fantastic 4 hours together. I just wish it probably would have happened in the first year rather than the last. But as he said, that was intentional. He doesn't like to get close to his coaches or his players, and I think once he recognised towards the end of the year that was happening, he knew that it was time. I really just want to focus on a couple of things. The first one is to do with our players. And I want to acknowledge their efforts throughout the course of the year. We confronted some enormous challenges throughout the year, as you will be well aware. This game that we play is a tough, brutal game. You'll have heard me in press conferences say that many times. I believe it's the toughest game to play in the world. It's 36 players on a big oval, the biggest oval in world sport, and it's also got the most participants, and it goes for the longest period of time of any ball sport in the world. And so that combined makes it, and you play with an oval ball, which makes it a bit tougher as well. That makes it a pretty difficult game. You can tackle from any direction, and you can nearly hit them at any time that you like. So it's a brutal, brutal contest. We acknowledge the efforts of our players. I can't believe the way the game's changed and the speed of it in more recent times. And it's a very, very courageous act even for a player to get on the field, let alone to compete at the level that they did throughout the course of the year. But over the course of the year, we did have to inject some new players because of the brutal nature of the game. We lost a few of our soldiers due to injury, some of them really important players to us. As Hodgie said, those new players jumped in and they played their roles and they did it particularly well. I think the important thing about that is that they showed the competition, importantly, because we'd lost that over the last couple of years. They showed our supporters, which is really, really important, as Jeff acknowledged earlier. And they also showed themselves that we're ready to challenge again in 2012 in a serious manner. Enormously proud of our players and the way that they commit themselves to the contest. We didn't quite get there, as Jeff said. But if you want to be involved in this journey of AFL footy, prepare yourself for both triumph and tragedy. This club has seen plenty of it. In 61, we made the finals, won the premiership. 62, we missed the finals. By 65, we were wooden spooners. 71, we were premiers. 72, we missed the finals. 83, we were premiers. 84, we were 23 points in front at three-quarter time, and we lost to those dirty, rotten black and red Bombers. That's why we hate them so much. So if you reckon we went through a bit of pain, imagine the 1984 Hawthorn grand final side that year. In 91, we won the premiership. By 1995, 4 years later, we were second bottom. In 2008, we won the flag. In 2009, we missed the finals. This isn't just unique to Hawthorn. Yabby coached in 9 grand finals, the great Yabby Jeans. He only won 4, he lost 5 of them. Mick Moldhouse has coached in 8. He won 3, he lost 4, he drew another. North Melbourne, the club that I played at, from 94 through to 2000, they played in 7 preliminary finals. They only saluted and won the flag twice in that time. Port Adelaide, another club I was involved at in 2002, 2003, they were top of the ladder. And in both of those years, went out in straight sets and didn't even make the grand final. 2004, they eventually did and saluted. Geelong, been, and quite probably rightly so, saluted as perhaps the best side of all time, winning 90% of their games over the last 5 years, but they've had their pain. We know one of them. Quite happy to inflict that pain too, I might add. But in 2005, they were playing the Sydney Swans at the SCG and they were in front for the whole game, except the last 3 seconds. Nick Davis kicked 4 goals in the last quarter, the last of which was 3 seconds to go. Geelong came back home, losers to Sydney, who went on to win the flag that year. Obviously, their grand final loss to us in 08. The only way to win premierships is to consistently present yourself in the top 4. And that's our challenge. We did it in 08. We couldn't do it in 09 or 010. We did it in 011. Our challenge for our players and for our club is to consistently present because, as we said, there is triumph and tragedy and we'll have our fair share. We have our histories about that. But we've always bounced back as a footy club. And we will do so again this time. But our challenge is we can't give ourselves a chance to win it unless we get top 4. We've got to get there again next year. As a club, as a group of supporters, as the brown and gold, as a group of players over here.